the differences in staging large groups versus small groups. You know, obviously 30 people is different than 10 people, and how we treat the stage. Is the stage contoured for that smaller group? Do we go with a different kind of floor design to accentuate the numbers? But just if you could speak a little bit on just some of your approaches to staging larger groups versus smaller groups.
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to adjusting your thinking and pacing out how you use the members, right? If you only have 10 people, then you might want to wait 2/3 of the show before you bring them all together in the glorious unison flag feature, whatever you have, so that can be impactful. Because the tendency with smaller groups is to do too much too soon, rather than allowing yourself to work with what you have, and what you have are limited numbers. So perhaps you use the individuals more to create that interest and to get the engagement, I suppose. Whereas with the larger groups, you have those numbers, so you have the opportunity to do a lot more secondary, tertiary, like just everything you need is there at all times. You can do that with smaller groups. You just have to adjust your thinking. So instead of the large group, oh, this would be great for a rifle feature, the smaller group might be, you know what, I'm going to bring these two kick butt rifles down front, and they're gonna own the floor for that. And then when I add 2 more, that's gonna feel big, right? As opposed to the large group, if you added 2 to the 8, no one's gonna notice, right? So I think a lot of it is about pacing the show, but also pacing in your own creative process. A lot of it also has to do with the experience level or skill level of the 2 groups, especially the smaller one. If you have the superstars. I think there was one year we did a group together that had maybe 2 seniors that could throw something higher than a 5 or 6. And it ended up being a really cool motif throughout the show, where you would always see those 2 doing something. We worked with what we had at the time and didn't shy away from it, but made it an asset to the program. I think that that's probably one thing.
Yeah. I especially like the note about sparingly using the numbers so that you don't get too big too fast. If you're talking about that Carol show, I think people's first instincts are we can't create emotional volume like a large group can, but I instantly go back to that show and go, yes, you can. And all of the things, soundtrack, personality, style, how you worked with the numbers throughout the show, like you're able to still get as big as a 30-piece ensemble in that same show emotionally. Did you have anything to add to that?
No, I was just going to say it's an obvious consideration, but what can you do with the size of the floor and the props? That Carol show you're talking about, the props were involved in that, and for us, it was a new kind of space and way to do it. And like he said, one person at a time for a little while, and then a little bit more and a little bit more, and so it's just strategy and patience.
I think that actually led us to grow, honestly, as designers, because we did end up working more with character in that show than I think that we had ever done before, because that was a layer we could add knowing the members we had. And so that became, each character had their own personality, which informed the audience of the personality through, choreography, a choreographic identity. So yeah, I mean, what started out as a limitation, I think really turned out to be a strength.
That was 95 or 96?
95.
95? Yeah, if you...
2 people that didn't even know how to spin.
Yeah.
We had
Wow.
Oh, band girls, right?
2 of them didn't even, they were band members,
If you've not seen that, and maybe you can write it down in your notes, but check out the 1995 Carroll High School Winter Guard. It's quite amazing as a study and how to really do something great with a small group, a small cast. What was it, 11?
11.
11. That was a great job on that.